All right, John, it's day 4 of Mobile World Congress. I think you've had time to reflect on a lot of the news out of the show, a lot of the conversations around OpenRAN. So just wanted to get a little bit of perspective maybe on the progress you're seeing since a year ago.
Yeah, I think it's been a great show. Attendance has been great. Enthusiasm is, sky high in terms of OpenRAN, and I think everywhere you go in the show, everybody's talking about OpenRAN. And from my opinion, it's not if now, it's when. Mavenir has made some, great announcements this week with great partners like Deutsche Telekom, and commercial deployments are now starting to happen. So people are now starting to believe in all the publicity that has been over the last 4 or 5 years about open interfaces. But yeah, it's happening.
You mentioned the news Mavenir had out with Deutsche Telekom. Maybe you can expand on that and take us through some of the other highlights that you announced during the show.
Yeah, so we participated in Deutsche Telekom's ORAN Town over the last couple of years, and that was a journey in itself, because when we started that, it was with early equipment, early software, and really sort of that grew to a conclusion that led Deutsche Telekom to believe that it's now ready for deployment. The report they published was essentially a report based on software and hardware that's essentially 2 years old. And it's got a great experience in there, and I think then that followed up with the report that was issued by the 5 MOU operators in Europe, which really put the whole thing in perspective. And I strongly recommend people to go read that report. And it puts all the issues of security, why contracts are taking the time to put in place, because essentially the incumbents have contracts that are holding people back, and so that's been good. We made announcements with Dish, Dish in terms of the expansion. Dish are really rapidly rolling out the network. We've got software supporting, over 100,000 sectors of radio out there. So it's not a small network by any means. And, people look at it and say, okay, 10,000 cell sites, but in reality, 10,000 cell sites supports 150,000 sectors of software. So it's a lot of software, and it's a network that's growing real fast. So it's real good use case. We announced, I think it was Bermuda was another network with Paradise, we've got some more announcements to come in the next few weeks. So great progress. I think, as I say, OpenRAN is happening, no doubt about it. It's just how fast now the industry can scale in terms of supporting those needs.
And I was hoping you could maybe clarify one thing for me. As I've gone around the FIRA and looked at some of the booths, I've heard this phrasing, Cloud RAN. So help me draw the distinction between OpenRAN, Cloud RAN, and maybe some insight into why a company would opt for one phrasing like that.
Yeah, well, so Cloud RAN was really Ericsson's attempt to FUD up the marketplace. Ericsson used Cloud RAN as their product name. So when other companies talk about Cloud RAN, it's all about proprietary interfaces still. Ericsson publicly get up there and say, look, we believe in open interfaces internally in the product, but externally we're not going to do open interfaces between the products, and that's what OpenRAN is. OpenRAN is about open interfaces and interconnectivity between products, and Ericsson have gone down the path of trying to keep their monopoly in the marketplace. Nokia this week, as much as they changed the name of the company, they come out with this Cloud RAN, any RAN type solution, and again, you're seeing the 2 big incumbents basically say, look, when OpenRAN's not going to happen, let's just stick with our proprietary solutions, and we know best. But the fact that operators are now starting to trust this thing and starting to roll it out, the days are numbered for when Cloud RAN will become proper Cloud RAN. In a sense, Cloud RAN should be with open interfaces. And that's the FUD that's in the marketplace. So as soon as you hear Cloud RAN, you have to do a double take and say, does it have open interfaces, or is it proprietary, as Nokia and Ericsson are trying to do?
And then you referenced security. I was hoping we could maybe circle back to that. I know this is something that you're deeply engaged with on a global level, both with governments and with your partners. But I mean, for some reason, that core question still lingers. Is OpenRAN more or less secure than proprietary?
Yeah, exactly, and it's been a subject of discussion on a number of panels that I've been on, and I say, look, actually the industry is really missing the point about security. Right, there's really 5 basic points on security, and actually the first point is security of supply chain. Right, everybody sort of dives in and says, oh, it's the security of the product and interfaces and software and things like phishing and all that type of stuff that you get in any software environment. But the key element for security is about supply chain, and to that extent, these proprietary networks are always have got a single point of failure, and that's the piece I think people are now starting to grab hold of and starting to realize. Look, if anything happened to Nokia or Ericsson, half the networks in the world would go dead. And so, security of supply chain has become a real issue, and I think that's what's also, speeding up people's choices and looking at OpenRAN as the way out of this.
Okay, so just a matter not of if, but of when, right?
Yep, that should be the title. Not if, but when.
All right, very good, John. Always nice to catch up with you.
Yeah, likewise.